We have some breaking news coming in. We're learning that the Centre has filed a review petition before the Supreme Court seeking a review of the Constitution Bench judgment in services row between the Delhi government, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Centre. Now, the review was filed on the same day that an ordinance has been passed by the Centre introducing a new authority which would be tasked to recommend regarding transfers and postings of top bureaucrats serving the GNCTD. We're crossing over to our legal correspondent, Ananya Bhatnagar, to tell us more about this. Ananya, we'll be asking a few questions when it comes to providing context for the story. First, can you tell us more about the review petition that the Centre has filed now?
Well, the Centre has actually filed a review petition with regards to the May 11 judgment of the Supreme Court, wherein the control and of the transfer and postings in the National Capital Territory of Delhi, or what we call generally as services, was given out to the government of Delhi, and the powers of the Lieutenant Governor of the National Capital Territory was actually reduced to a bit, and was said that he will have to act on the aid and advice of the the Council of Ministers, the GNCTD, and challenging that particular order, they have filed a review petition before the Supreme Court seeking a review of this judgment of the Supreme Court Constitution Bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud. Remember that the review petitions are heard by the same bench itself, but since certain judges on that particular bench have in fact retired, there would be a change in the bench and certain new members would be coming in. Now, what is very, very important to note is that the Centre's review comes at a time when the central government itself has brought in an ordinance to negate the effect of that particular judgment. We saw how in an ordinance that was passed by the central government's Ministry of Law and Justice through the promulgation of, in fact, the President of India. There was an authority that was created which was to be called the National Capital Civil Servants Authority, the NCSSA, which would be headed by the Chief Minister of the National Capital Territory of Delhi. The other two members would be the Principal Home Secretary, and also one other member would be there on that particular committee, and they would be recommending the Lieutenant Governor with regards to all the transfers and posting of the Group A officers, all the top bureaucrats. And, this also gives a lot of power to the Lieutenant Governor, clearly saying that he is to have the final word in all of the matters pertaining to transfer, posting, vigilance, and other incidental matters. So definitely this is a big, big move coming in from the central government. How well does it play up? How well does it go before the Supreme Court? Whether the judges would be reacting in a certain way to this is something that is a matter of time. We'll get to know when the matter is heard by the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. Ananya, now considering that there's been a Supreme Court ruling, there's been an ordinance, there's a review petition, right now, where do the powers of the LG and the Delhi government stand?
With the new ordinance coming in at this point of time, since always we'll all have to remember that an ordinance will always pass a judgment of the Supreme Court. It is a special law that comes in. And since this ordinance has now come in, this is the law of the land at this current moment, since it's an ordinance. But at the same point of time, when the Parliament comes back into session, this ordinance needs to be passed by both the houses within the 45 days of the Parliament in session. And if that does not happen, things will fall back straight to the ground. So at this point of time, the Centre used both its options by bringing in a special law and also by challenging the particular order of the May 11, wherein the LG's power were reduced, clearly saying, and the Centre has maintained its stand, whether it's before the Supreme Court or, in fact, before in this particular ordinance, that Delhi is something that is an extraordinary union territory because it has the top bureaucrats, it has the President, the Prime Minister, and various other important dignitaries living in the national capital. And keeping in view all of this, Delhi seems to be something that needs to be under the control, more of a control under the central government.
All right, Ananya, thank you so much for joining us and for putting things into clarity with that story. Now we're going to listen into some statements that have come in, starting with Aap Minister Atishi.
किसी भी राज्य की सरकार की ताकत छीनी नहीं जा सकती है कि अगर केंद्र सरकार को ही सारी ताकत देनी होती तो इस देश के संविधान निर्माता एक संघीय ढांचा क्यों बनाते, वरना चुनी हुई सरकार विल ऑफ द पीपल यानी जनता की इच्छा, जनता की राय को इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर सकती है।
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस डिसीजन का स्वागत करती है कि एक अध्यादेश जो लाया गया है उसके कई कारण हैं, और जिस प्रकार से अरविंद केजरीवाल कार्य कर रहे थे, और हमें ये नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि दिल्ली जो है वो देश की राजधानी है। यहाँ कोई भी घटनाक्रम होता है ना, उसका असर ना सिर्फ देश में बल्कि विदेशों में पड़ता है। और जिस प्रकार के कार्यकलाप रहे हैं केजरीवाल साहब के, चीफ सेक्रेटरी का थप्पड़ मारना कांड हम सबको पता है, जिस प्रकार से 11 मई के बाद जब इनके पास सुप्रीम कोर्ट से जो डिसीजन आया, उसके बाद से जिस प्रकार से इनके कार्य रहे, अफसरों की शिकायतें आ रही थी कि हमें धमकाया जा रहा है।
इतने डरे हुए, इतने भयभीत हैं कि उनका एक ही मकसद है, कुछ भी हो जाए इस सरकार को चलने नहीं देना है। कुछ भी हो जाए, अरविंद केजरीवाल को दिल्ली की 2 करोड़ जनता के हितों में काम नहीं करने देना है। यह फैसला आता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, और उसके बाद 2 दिन भी नहीं बीतता, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार, नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार, माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के फैसले को, संविधान पीठ के फैसले को एक अध्यादेश से बदल देती है।
देखिए, अध्यादेश का स्वागत करता हूँ, स्वागत योग्य कदम है। देखिए, दिल्ली एक बहुत अलग परिस्थिति की यूनियन टेरिटरी है। यहाँ पे विदेशों के बहुत सारे ऑफिस हैं, विदेशों की एम्बेसियाँ हैं, उनका प्रोटोकॉल है, उनकी सुरक्षा है। ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वो दिल्ली के खाते में आती हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल और उनके लोगों को इस बात की समझ है, लेकिन वो समझना नहीं चाहते। वो ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग में फंसा के जो उनका भ्रष्टाचार की प्रकाष्ठा है, उसको उस पर पर्दा डालना चाहते हैं।